Why am I so happy? My mom flew in last night. 82-year-old mom flew in last night. She's with us. She's in there right now making me eggs and bacon. Oh, I'm so happy. I love her. Welcome to Doug in Exile. Special thanks to my people out there. You know who you are watching all 4 videos, my Quad Club people. You guys, I've been reading the messages last night. You guys really leave some nice stuff and some great thoughts. We're talking about the big, beautiful bill today. Another reason to be happy. Trump is happy, though he is not happy with Thomas Massie. The fiscal conservatives are giving him trouble, saying it's going to raise the debt instead of pay it down. I'm taking sides on this one. I do agree with Trump, even though I'm also a fiscal conservative. It is not time to pay down the debt. It's never time to pay down the debt. That's the problem in the last 40 years. Here's Trump.
Say it. I'm a fiscal hawk. I'm a bigger fiscal hawk. There's nobody like me as a fiscal hawk.
Massie said it adds more deficit than Biden did. This bill kind of
Because we have
Look at Mike Johnson smiling over there when Trump goes, there's no bigger fiscal hawk than me, and Mike Johnson's on the left there laughing.
fixed the country.
Do you think that Thomas Massie is correct in saying that this is adding Biden?
No, I don't think Thomas Massie understands government. I think he's a grandstander, frankly. He'll probably vote. We don't even talk to him much. I think he should be voted out of office. And I just don't think he understands government. If you ask him a couple of questions, he never gives you an answer. He just says, I'm a no. He thinks he's going to get publicity. And you have that. You have that. They've got some too. Go ahead.
They've got some too. So that's the division. The fiscal hawks are coming after Trump, saying you pay down the debt instead of this big, beautiful bill. Now, here's the headlines real quick. I'm going to give you the overview of what the news is saying, what Google's saying. Here's New York Times: market jitters over a big, beautiful bill. Here's Fox News: Trump heads to Capitol Hill to push his big, beautiful bill. Here's the Daily Beast: Trump ramps up pressure on it. Here's Fox News: Trump defends it on Capitol Hill. Here's Yahoo Finance: White House says the big, beautiful bill will lower the U.S. deficit. Analysts say that's off by trillions. We're going to go into who's right on this. Trump admin lives live updates. We have to get it done, Trump says. GOP bill advancing his agenda. Now, this is true. This has to get done. This is Trump's entire fiscal agenda. If he doesn't get this, there will not be a win for him. He has to get the budget first. So even if he's going to fix America, do all this other make America great stuff, he has to do this first. Now, here's Thomas Massie. This is the guy that Trump is ripping on all the stuff. I wanted to hear from him. My goal is to bring the news for all sides. Rep Thomas Massie: the big, beautiful bill will add $20 trillion of federal debt over the next 10 years. And that's according to the authors of it. But there's another huge problem. It will increase the price of the $36 trillion of debt we already have, as bond buyers realize we aren't fiscally responsible. Moody's cuts America's pristine credit rating, citing rising debt. Here's a good quote from Justin Amash: the so-called big, beautiful bill would be more appropriately named the big bloated scam, or the big BS for short. It's the oldest scam in Washington. Now, this is key because I kind of agree with this one. It adds trillions to the debt in new spending and backloads the promised cuts, because it promises to cut spending, to ensure they never happened. It's the same BS every time. What do they mean by that? Well, the spending happens now, say to pay for no tax on tips and to expand the military on the border, to pay for things that we need, infrastructure. And then the savings where they say the debt's going to go down, well, that won't be until 2030 when we cut spending on the Green New Deal and the windmills. So see, all the cuts come later, the spending comes now. That's the philosophical difference between Trump and Thomas Massie. Both of them have a good point. Here's Speaker Mike Johnson on the big, beautiful bill. He says, now's the time to deliver the President of the United States America First agenda. By passing the One Big, Beautiful Bill Act, we will secure our border, true, grow our economy and cut taxes, true. Remember Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, said The way that you outgrow the debt is you outgrow your economy. Simply, you create more money through healthy, real jobs and real business, and cut taxes, which is true. Make our government more efficient, restore America's energy dominance, and return to peace through strength. One big, beautiful bill. That's Speaker Mike Johnson. Here's Steve Scalise on Democrats not supporting it and some Republicans not supporting it. They basically, they go in the back rooms and they have a bunch of conversations and try and put the pressure on everybody.
And, last night, Budget Committee was another big step getting the bill through. And we were having conversations, Speaker Johnson, myself, with some of the members that still have some questions that were on the Budget Committee. We had that conversation yesterday for a long time, but then we got the bill through. And now we've still this week got a number of other meetings we're going to have with different ends of our conference, everybody from the moderates to the ultra conservatives and everybody in between, because there's so many important parts of this bill. You think about it, it's tax policy, making sure nobody gets a tax increase, border policy, giving President Trump the tools he needs to secure the border, energy policy, making sure that we can produce more energy in America, food stamps, looking at the debt ceiling so that we can address and not have a debt crisis, dealing with mandatory spending. As you point out, this bond downgrade is another serious blow that shows that America needs to get its fiscal house in order. We start to do that in this bill. I wish that there was just one Democrat in the House or Senate that would join us in trying to get responsible about addressing these problems, but they're not right now. They're a party in disarray. But
the Democrats are united against it, and Thomas Massie is going to say no with the Democrats. Same with Chip Roy.
We're still unified. We have some issues and questions we're working through, no doubt. But every step of the way, you go back and look at the two-step reconciliation process, the budget, then this reconciliation bill. Every vote's been tight. The margins are tight, but we're getting it done, and we're going to get it done this week. And
that's huge credit to Scalise and to Speaker Mike Johnson. Guys, they're holding it together. But wait, there's more. We have to hear from another naysayer. I'm trying to be fair here. Here's Chip Roy. Chip Roy, but the bill does not yet meet the moment, leaving almost half of the Green New scam subsidies continuing. Remember, they don't go away until 2030 in this bill. So that's another example of a cut that comes late. We can and must do better before we pass the final product. Will Chip Roy vote against it?
Is the president okay with this bill adding to the deficit?
This bill does not add to the deficit. In fact, according to the Council of Economic Advisors, this bill will save $1.6 trillion. And the president absolutely understands and hears the concerns of fiscal conservatives and of Americans who want to get our fiscal house in order. That's what the intention of this bill is. There's $1.6 trillion worth of savings in this bill. That's the largest savings for any legislation that has ever passed Capitol Hill in our nation's history. The next bill that even comes close was $800 billion. That's less than half of the savings that we see in the one big beautiful bill. And so the goal of this bill is to produce economic growth, to cut taxes, and to get our fiscal house in order. And this is the right step in the right direction towards doing.
Now, I agree with some of this. So I disagree with the savings. She says 1.3 trillion. It's true. It won't come till 2030. I mean, Trump office, you have your next president in office when the savings come. So it's true. 1.3 trillion. Okay. But the spending is now, and that's always the problem. Now, what she's right about is you have to save America first. So the fiscal guys, they only see things as financial. They go, look, we're going to go insolvent. You know how else I'll show you all these other ways you can destroy the country. You can have a social movement, civil war. That would destroy it. That has nothing to do with physical conservatism. You can destroy the country, say, by making if all of the elections were fake. If you allowed illegal citizens to vote and swing every state, you would end the country. Notice that has nothing to do with fiscal conservatism. So all these different ways. You could have another pandemic. We could go into a war. We could have a civil war within us, between a race war. So the fiscal conservatives, they only see one threat, and they're all money. Money is the only way. No. You have to, Trump is rebuilding the middle class, bringing, really conducting a trade war with China, bringing our manufacturing back home. There's all these other deals, other things that Trump needs to work on. So the budget stuff needs to come later. Unfortunately, I'm going to wrap this up with Margie Taylor Greene. Here she says she's excited and she's a conservative. The one big beautiful bill is the largest tax cut in American history. So that's Margie Taylor Greene repeating Caroline Leavitt and Trump's angle on this. Permanent tax cuts, bigger paychecks. Americans making $30,000 to $80,000 will see their tax bills drop by 15%. That's $5,000 back in their pockets. We must get this bill passed and put Americans first. And now, to all of you, to my fiscal hawks, to my Thomas Massie, I love Thomas Massie. He's wrong on this. Is it time to fix America first before we pay down the debt? Because Thomas Massie's trying to convince you, and Trump is trying to convince you the other way. Let's hear from you. I'm Doug in Exile.